Do you ever feel guilty for not being the friend you think you should be? Are you wondering why you can't just show up the way everyone else seems to? Does it feel like there's something fundamentally wrong with you because connection, the thing that's supposed to come naturally, suddenly feels impossible? Here's what you need to know. What you're experiencing is actually a survival mechanism. When your brain hits capacity, it doesn't politely ask for a break. It shuts the door on all incoming input, including the people you care about most. The guilt you feel isn't proof that you're antisocial. It's proof that you actually want connection. You just don't have the capacity for it right now. In today's video, we're going to walk through 6 telltale signs that what you're dealing with isn't a personality flaw. It's emotional overload. And by the end of this video, you'll stop viewing your need for space as a character flaw and start seeing it as a necessary survival skill. If you're tired of feeling guilty for needing space, you're in the right place. We're building a community of emotionally aware people who are learning to honor their capacity. Hit that subscribe button to join us on this mission to make psychology more accessible. So with that said, let's dive into these 6 traits. And the first one is something almost everyone has felt but rarely understands. Number 1, the social hangover. Picture this. It's Saturday morning. You had a great Friday night out, laughing with friends, connecting, genuinely enjoying yourself. But now you're sitting on your couch, staring at the wall, unable to even decide what to eat for breakfast. Simple decisions suddenly require effort you just don't have. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced that social hangover. That's not laziness or depression. That's your nervous system in recovery mode, and it's one of the clearest signs you're dealing with emotional overload, not antisocial tendencies. Someone who's truly antisocial doesn't enjoy the event while it's happening. They feel uncomfortable during the interaction and relieved when it's over. But if you're emotionally overloaded, you might have a great time in the moment. Your brain is engaged, you're connecting with people, everything feels fine. The problem shows up afterward. Think of it like this. Your nervous system is like a battery, but the charging port is clogged with data. During that social event, you weren't just having fun. You were reading facial expressions, monitoring tone of voice, managing your own emotional responses, and staying present in multiple conversations. All of that takes energy. So even though you enjoyed yourself, your system was working overtime to process everything. The exhaustion you feel for days afterward isn't about disliking people. It's about your brain needing time to clear the backlog and recharge. Now, you might be thinking, but I enjoyed the party. Doesn't that mean I'm just lazy the next day? Actually, the opposite is true. The more you enjoyed it, the more data your brain was processing. That genuine laughter, those meaningful conversations, your system was fully engaged, which means it was working at maximum capacity. Number 2, selective muting. If you've ever done this, pay close attention. 1, your phone buzzes with a text from someone you care about. 2, you read it and fully intend to respond. 3, hours pass, then days pass, and you still haven't replied. 4, every time you see that message, you feel a wave of guilt. And 5, you put the phone face down and avoid it entirely. Be honest. How many unread messages are sitting in your inbox right now that you're just not ready to open? Drop a raising hand emoji in the comments if you're currently in selective muting mode. If that's you, here's what you need to know. You're not rude. You're at capacity. Here's what makes this so confusing. The text isn't even demanding. It's your mom saying, "Thinking of you," or a friend sending a meme with zero expectation of a response. It's the kindest, lowest pressure message you could get. And yet, it still feels like it's asking for 100% of your energy. That's because your system is already at capacity, and even the smallest input registers as a demand. This isn't about being rude or not caring. When you're emotionally overloaded, even the sound of a notification can feel like an alarm going off in your head. It's not that you're angry at the person texting you. It's that your bandwidth to take in more information, process it, and generate an appropriate response is completely maxed out. Someone who's antisocial might ignore messages because they don't want the connection. But if you're overloaded, you want to respond. You care about the person. You just don't have the bandwidth to engage right now. Your brain is essentially putting up a do not disturb sign because it needs to finish processing everything else that's already in the queue. Here's the practical win. You don't need to carry the guilt of those unread messages. Send a 5-second text that says, "I'm at capacity right now, but I'll check in when I'm back." That one sentence saves your relationships and your energy. It sets a boundary without burning a bridge. Number 3, hypervigilance in crowds. Now, this next one is the most misunderstood. You might think it's social anxiety, but it's actually a sign of a high-functioning brain that's lost its filter. Here's what that looks like. Imagine sitting in a coffee shop trying to work. Instead of hearing pleasant background noise, your brain is tracking the tense conversation at table 4 where a couple is clearly breaking up. You're picking up on the barista's stressed tone when they're short with a customer. You notice the flickering light in the corner that no one else seems to see. Your system isn't choosing to focus on these things. It's automatically processing all of it at once, whether you want it to or not. Does that coffee shop scenario sound like your daily life? If you're the person who always picks up on the vibe of a room before anyone else, type empath below. Here's the key difference. When you're emotionally overloaded, being in a crowded room doesn't make you afraid of people. It makes you exhausted because you're unconsciously processing every single detail around you. You're reading micro-expressions on people's faces. You're picking up on shifts in tone. You're noticing body language, sensing tension, absorbing the emotional temperature of the room. It's like being an emotional sponge that can't turn off. And here's what you need to understand. This is the empath's burden. Your nervous system is wired to pick up on subtle cues that most people completely miss. This isn't a malfunction. It's actually a high-resolution emotional radar. In many situations, this is a genuine strength. You read rooms better than others. You sense what people need before they say it. You pick up on dynamics that fly under everyone else's radar. But when you're already running on empty, that constant input becomes too much. Your gift becomes a weight. You're not avoiding people because you don't like them. You're stepping back because your system desperately needs a break from processing all those signals at once. Here's the value in knowing this. When you realize this is a radar operating at full sensitivity, you can stop blaming yourself for needing to leave the room and start planning for it. You can protect your boundaries before you hit overload. These first 3 traits show that your system is overloaded, not broken. But the final 3 reveal what your brain is actually craving, and it's the opposite of what an antisocial person wants. Number 4, the pre-social ritual. Have you ever noticed that before you can go out and be around people, you need hours of complete silence? Maybe you cancel plans because you didn't get enough alone time that day to prepare yourself. Maybe you need to sit in your car for 20 minutes before walking into a gathering just to mentally gear up. If you're taking time to charge up before socializing, that means you actually want to be there. You're just aware that you need to fill your tank first. Think of it this way. You wouldn't drive a car across the country without checking the gas gauge. Your brain works the same way. That pre-social ritual isn't avoidance, it's preparation. You're giving your nervous system the quiet it needs so you can show up fully present when you do connect with others. But what happens when you don't get that chance to prepare? That's when we see sign number 5. Number 5, emotional leakage. If you've ever felt a sudden, inexplicable surge of rage over something tiny, you need to hear this one. It's the clearest signal your system is about to hit a total shutdown. Here's what that looks like. You're sitting at your desk trying to focus, and a coworker across the room starts tapping their pen. It's quiet. It's rhythmic. Most people wouldn't even notice it. But to you, it feels like each tap is drilling directly into your skull. You can't think about anything else. The sound isn't just annoying, it's physically painful. You have the sudden urge to leave the room, not because you're angry at the person, but because your system's filter has completely failed. When your nervous system is overloaded, it loses its ability to filter out minor stimuli. Everything starts to feel like it's at the same volume. Your brain can't distinguish between what's important and what's background noise anymore. so even the smallest input feels major. This is sensory overload. Your system can't sort the signal from the noise. The irritation you feel isn't about the person or the sound. It's your brain sending an emergency signal that it needs to reset immediately. What's that one tiny sound or thing that makes you want to climb a wall when you're tired? I want to hear yours in the comments. If you felt even one of these 5 traits, you're probably wondering, does this mean I'm just broken? The answer is no, and this final trait proves it beyond any doubt. When your filter is that thin, you can't waste energy on things that don't matter. And that leads us to the most telling sign of all, the way you choose your people. Number 6, deep connection hunger. This last trait is the one that makes the distinction crystal clear. If small talk feels painful while deep, one-on-one conversations energize you, that's not avoidance, that's quality control. Surface-level conversations require you to stay alert, manage social niceties, and track multiple threads without much payoff. It's high effort for low reward. But when you sit down with someone and talk about things that actually matter, suddenly you have energy. Hours can pass and you don't feel drained, you feel alive. Which would you choose? A 3-hour party with 20 people, or a 3-hour coffee date with one best friend? I think I know what most of you will say, but let's see the results in the comments. This is because deep connection doesn't just take energy, it also gives it back. You're not processing empty inputs anymore. You're engaging with ideas and emotions that resonate. The difference between group small talk and one-on-one depth isn't about being antisocial. It's about energy cost versus energy return. So here's the truth. You're not failing at being the friend you think you should be. You're actually becoming a better one. Because the friend who shows up fully present after protecting their capacity is far more valuable than the friend who shows up running on empty. What you're doing isn't isolation, it's strategic withdrawal, and it's a skill worth mastering. When you step back, you're not abandoning people. You're preserving your ability to connect meaningfully when you're ready. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Here's your action step. The next time someone asks why you've been quiet, try this phrase. I'm at capacity right now, but I care about you and I'll reach out when I'm back. 9 words. No apology, no guilt. Just a boundary that protects both the relationship and your energy. Now, if emotional overload becomes constant and you can't seem to recover, it might be worth talking to a professional who can help you build strategies to manage it. We'd love to hear from you. Which of these 6 traits was your biggest aha moment today? Tell us your story in the comments. We read as many as we can. And if you're ready to join a community of emotionally aware people who are learning to honor their capacity instead of apologizing for it, hit that subscribe button. We're building something different here, a space where needing space isn't a character flaw. As always, thanks for watching.